Let's try going live.
Oh, we're back. Allegedly.
Allegedly. Let me refresh my YouTube.
Yep.
Come on. My YouTube's not showing me back. But that's okay. I know another way to go here. YouTube. Why are you doing this?
We are live, by the way.
Okay. I'm just trying to get the video so I can... YouTube's very weird how it does things.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So
I think
the Cow Minotaur. I'm going to blame the Cow Minotaur. I'm going to blame the Cow Minotaur for why we crashed earlier. Because, I mean, that is pretty horrific. That's a thing that we have to happen. But let's start into the piece of resistance. The big mamma jamma. Jussie Smollett just got a huge job offer from CNN. Jussie Smollett offered job at CNN after fabricating news story out of thin air.
Oh.
Atlanta, Georgia. While Empire actor Jussie Smollett has been having a tough week so far, there appears to be a silver lining. Cable news channel CNN has offered Smollett a job as the investigative reporter and on-air anchor after witnessing his skills at fabricating a news story completely out of thin air. CNN producers were reportedly impressed throughout the whole ongoing saga of Jussie Smollett's apparent hoax attack on himself. They realized early on that facts didn't add up, were fascinated by how well the actor kept the narrative going. An HR rep quickly reached out to Smollett to see if he'd be interested in taking on the position at the news organization after news broke that the entire thing was probably fabricated. And this is from our good friends at the Babylon Bee, so we know it's satire. But is it really satire?
It's hard to tell anymore. But by the way, you know what? This is the thing that I've been hearing ever since I've heard of satire, is that satire is now dead.
It's impossible to tell satire from reality anymore.
It's been like that since I even knew what satire was. No, it's more than 10 years ago, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Since I've been on the internet, pretty much.
So, of course, from a actual not satirical news source, the Chicago Tribune, in the latest plot twist,
Allegedly.
Cook County prosecutors allegedly abruptly drop all charges against Jussie Smollett. For those of you who haven't heard about it, the state's attorney in Chicago said, no, we're just going to drop all these charges because Jussie was going to get community service anyway. And he did some community service, just happened to be before this trial. We're going to give credit for it, for that community service. And you know what? We were also going to keep $10,000 that he put up for his $100,000 bond. That seems fair.
No.
And he happened to do his community service with Jesse Jackson.
No.
And yes. Though later, through a spokesman, Rainbow Push, which was founded on the South Side by Reverend Jesse Jackson, the civil rights organization was unaware that Smollett's assistants had any connection to his court case. He was just a volunteer. So, isn't that just suspicious? Isn't that just suspicious? And the police are hopping mad. The mayor is hopping mad. They're frothing at the mouth mad. The police are protesting. Trump's announced he's going to be doing pushing the FBI and the Justice Department to do a federal investigation, not just of Smollett, but of, how the whole case was handled. But let's put some things into context.
When the Chicago mayor is complaining about corruption, oh boy,
it's good stuff. So let's pull up this thing here from Emily Zanot, who's a writer and does some things. She had a nephew in Chicago who did 30 hours of community service for getting caught doing 10 miles over the speed limit. So, lying to the cops 17 times is less serious than going 10 miles over the limit, apparently, for speeding. Does that make sense to you, Jim?
Oh.
I mean, look, we all know this was a completely and totally rigged and corrupt case.
Yeah.
And it's impressive. Let me see which one of these many, many stories that there are here that are really delicious and good.
We have the other one. The sources inside the Chicago Police Department tell me that Superintendent Eddie Johnson is, quote, furious over the development. The CPD was excited by Fox's decision.
Also, Even David Axelrod, former, and here I'm going to put the link to just this tweet here in the doobly-doo. Even David Axelrod is calling BS. The guy whose job it was to make BS things go away for President Obama. He said, this is some BS. And let's see here. Another interesting scoop. The Nigerian brothers told the police that they put the bleach inside a hot sauce bottle that was later found at the scene of the crime. So, yeah. But of course, we can't hear this evidence because, he just lied to the cops. It's not like there are other related crimes that happened. No. And there's right now the reporters are suing the county in Cook County and the city of Chicago to try to get these records unsealed. But the records were sealed somehow, and the defense attorneys had nothing to do with it. And the sheriff's department wasn't told about the case being settled until the news came over all the press.
Yeah. That was the first they've heard. They heard about it the same time we did.
Yeah. So, like, allegedly, here's another good one. The lead prosecutor who would have tried this case, had it gone to trial, but then dropped all charges, he said he believed he was guilty of all charges.
Oh.
But he dropped them. But he doesn't know why he dropped them. I've heard rumors on the television that Las Vegas is corrupt. Is that an accurate statement about?
Yes.
So how would this go over in Las Vegas for corruption? Because Las Vegas has lots of celebrity related corruption going on.
Let's put it like this: they hung OJ from the nearest pole.
Well, I mean, in all fairness, though, OJ was really dumb. He was really, really dumb.
Yeah. So
a little spoiler here while I give Jim the next Twitter link, because the FBI is going to be looking into this case further. If somebody steals your property, do not go steal it.
No.
Because if you do that, you will get arrested.
What?
Further, don't go steal it back from a casino in Vegas.
Yeah.
Because they have the cops on speed dial.
Yeah. And they have these things called cameras.
Yes.
If they're aware of this technology. It kind of came about in the closed circuit television. Probably came out, what, 70s, 60s, 70s, somewhere in there?
Yeah.
Yeah. And once casinos said, you know what? We have millions and millions of dollars just laying around the floor of this big giant room where we let anybody come in. Maybe we should put these cameras in here.
Also,
we should probably put them in the hallways too of our hotel.
Yeah.
Because
also a senior former advisor to Michelle Obama sent text mail messages to the state's attorney for Cook County. Let's read that. It'll be fun. Hi, Kim. I sent an email to your work address, I think, as well. I wanted to give you a call on behalf of Jussie Smollett and the family, who I know. They have concerns about the investigation. I'm on an 8 a.m. flight to New York City, but please call me before then. I land about 10:15 Chicago time. Hey, Kim, this is Blank. Are you available to chat? Tina Chen gave me your number. Hi, Blank. Are you available in 5 minutes? I'm at a conference in D.C. and will step out. Yes, I am. Spoke to the superintendent earlier. He made the ask, trying to figure out the logistics. I'll keep you posted. Oh my God, this would be a huge victory. No guarantees. I understand. I appreciate the effort. Hey, hope all is well. I want to check in on you about what's happening here when we have a moment. Are you available to chat now? Yes, I'm calling you. And this is, of course, the reason we have this is it was on a government phone. On a government phone, she was negotiating with a professional political fixer for the Obamas. And she said she is recusing herself from the investigation in a formal email. But she has now since come out to say Well, I didn't actually recuse myself. I was using the colloquial version of recuse myself, to which other prosecutors around the country have said there's no colloquial use of recusing yourself when you're a prosecutor. It means you're not going to be involved with things. And also, they were trying to get the FBI to take over the whole investigation. So
she was just recusing herself in the metaphorical sense.
Yes, in the metaphorical sense.
So when someone came up to her and said, "Hey, I heard you were recusing yourself. Is that true?" And she was like, "Well, it depends on what you mean by recusing yourself. Are you talking about actually physically removing myself from the premises, or are you actually talking about the metaphorical recusing myself,
or is he recusing, or are you recusing your bowels?" I mean, this is. I hate to say this, but President Trump has a point when he's saying that this is now a national embarrassment.
Oh, this story's great. The Daily Wire. Michelle Obama's ex-chief of staff admits she didn't. She tried to intervene in the Somalian investigation. Oof.
And she admitted she tried to. She admitted she tried to do that because it was on a publicly owned, public cell phone. So she had to admit to it because it was gonna get out. But the piece de resistance is, of course, she said to everybody, "Oh, this would be normal for a class 4 felony." However, there has since been, according to NBC5, let me see if it's NBC5 who said that here. They're asking around the state's attorney's office. Here we go. Charlie DeMar. Internal email circulating through the state's attorney's office today. Office is looking for examples of other cases where charges have been dropped one day after the charges were dropped for the Jussie Smollett case. So they're saying, "Oh yeah, this is completely and totally normal." Oh crap, it's not. Guys, we need to make an excuse. Come on, we need to come up with an excuse. And he still has potential federal charges incoming.
Yeah.
He still has potential federal charges for sending a hoax device through the mail, lying to FBI investigators, and possible wire fraud. So yeah.
You know what? There's a lot to say about the Trump administration and corruption and everything, but holy fucking shit, the Obama administration is still corrupted, and they're not even in power.
Yep.
What the hell is happening?
But you know what? Let's take this down for a moment. Let's mellow for a moment.
Okay.
Snoop Dogg's pot made Matthew McConaughey rap for 13 hours straight.
All right.
On Wednesday, late night with Jimmy Kimmel, the pals revealed how the rapper secretly got the actor too high while filming a scene for their new movie, Beach Bum. I'm considering seeing that this weekend. When I first got to the set, they had a bunch of fake blunts and joints rolled up, and I'm like, "Oh no, who is that for?" "That's not for me," Snoop said. "That was supposed to be for me," McConaughey chimed in before taking over the rest of the story. "I showed up that night, and I know the scene, so I talked to the prop guy on the set and said, 'Look, I got my prop joints, which are oregano.' Talk to Snoop, I say, 'These are my prop joints, oregano.' So all of a sudden, we do the scene, it's about 8-minute take, and it's a long take is if you're passing a joint back and forth and you're smoking hardcore to the heels of your feet. So the scene goes on, and right after the scene, I just feel like, man, I'm not sure that was a prop. And Snoop's like, 'Yo, Moondog, that was a prop weed. That was a Snoop weed.' I said, 'Oh man, buckle up because here we go.' Being that it was the first take of the night, they got a little off track. I didn't say another word of English really the rest of the night," McConaughey said. "You said I rapped a lot. You rapped 13 hours straight," Snoop said with a smirk. Before the story of the stoned adventure, the rapper said, "He always knew that he and the actor were meant to be friends. I think me and Matthew are meant for each other." He said it's supposed to be.
You had to drug him first, though.
Oof. But I mean, they are both marijuana enthusiasts.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Another thing that, oopsie doopsie. Just a moment, because one of my stories disappeared.
Bounding Con?
But that's okay. No, the link disappeared and I didn't check it. But luckily, we have the Twitter that the original story was based on. So Fonda Lee, And I know what you're going to say. Who's Fonda Lee?
Who is Fonda Lee?
She's some writer of young adult books.
Okay.
She posted a thing on Twitter. This is what modern fantasy writers are up against. In my local Barnes & Noble, most authors are lucky to find a copy of their book. Super lucky if it's face out. There are 3.5 shelves for Tolkien, 1.5 for Jordan. Here's who we have to compete against for the shelf space. Not each other, but dead guys. So, as I was talking to some people on Twitter about this, apparently there's this imagination of, you go to a bookstore to, discover books. In fact, she actually says that. Before you at me about the importance of classics, I love Lord of the Rings too, but 3.5 shelves? So much great modern science fiction and fantasy work out there. I found one copy of my WFA winning book. One of the most of the other Nebula and Hugo nominees, one copy of the 5th season, 18 copies of Lord of the Ring. If you think a bookstore should be a place of discovery, who goes into Barnes & Noble and discovers Tolkien? I don't go into Barnes & Noble to discover books. Do you think any rational person goes into a Barnes & Noble to discover a book?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
You just show up to Barnes & Noble and randomly look for a book?
Oh, to look for a specific book?
No, to randomly find a book.
To just go in there and see what looks interesting and go, oh, that looks interesting, and get it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I do that.
Okay. So what would your...
Yeah.
So what would...
Because I'll go in a section. I'll go into a section, and if something seems kind of libertarian-y or, Satan-y, or if there's especially in cookbooks. Oh yeah, cookbooks. If something grabs my... I found I had just no idea. I was just looking at the cookbooks, and I found one about ramen. It was
so you're saying for nonfiction books, but have you ever looked for a fiction book and just randomly looked for one?
No. Usually when I go in for fiction, it's usually because someone said, "Hey, you have to check out this novel."
Exactly.
And then I go, I don't read novels. I listen to them on audiobook. And then they go, but you have to read this one. And I say, no. And then 3 years later of haranguing me, I finally go, shut the fuck up. I'll get it. And it's already on paperback by that time. And I usually go...
And then you say, wait a minute, don't I have a free Audible subscription with Amazon?
No, I don't. But...
No?
Yeah. I mean, if I did, I would.
And so here's the bottom line. They have multiple Lord of the Rings copies because it's a popular book that sells a lot.
Yeah. Go figure.
And you have to get into things like the Iron Druid or Dresden Files to really get something new that's really popping and selling to a lot of people. But she was not the only person to have an ice cold take on J.R.R. Tolkien. One of the greatest writers of all time. Our good friend Mr. Chuck Wendig decided to jump in on that.
Oh no.
Former Star Wars author Chuck Wendig attacks epic fantasy. Your world is too white and male and straight. You're laughing because you're thinking to yourself that can't be real. That can't be real at all. But no, it is very real.
Oh my God.
Former Star Wars author Chuck Wendig recently took to Twitter to attack the entire genre of fiction and epic fantasy and decided to throw J.R.R. Tolkien's Lord of the Rings trilogy for good measure. Wendig, who was fired by Marvel for ruthlessly attacked epic fantasy, he would take to Twitter and write, tried to read Lord of the Rings a bunch and couldn't get through it. World building is not plot. Your book shouldn't read like an RPG manual, but should make somebody wish to be made your book in an RPG. The chosen one is a tired narcissistic trope. So let me read Chuck Wendig's very Twitter post. Loads unpopular opinion shotgun. I mean, really? That's how you can open up there, Chuck? I tried to read Lord of the Rings a bunch, but I couldn't get through it. World building is not plot. Your book shouldn't read like an RPG manual, but should also make me wish someone made your book into an RPG. They did. It's called Dungeons and Dragons. It happened back in the 70s. You were around then. The chosen one is a tired narcissistic trope. So who's the chosen one exactly in Lord of the Rings?
A midget?
No, he actually was not a chosen one.
Oh.
His uncle or grandpa or whatever took a ring and he inherited it from him, and the ring was evil, and he decided because he was a good person, I want to, do something to stop it. And the only other person who was really a chosen one was Aragon, and he was just like a dude who was technically, legally the king of a country, but he didn't want to be until it was necessary to, save people. But Chuck went further. Let's see, your feast scene is too long. Your world is too white and male and straight, because it was written after World War One, when, most people were white and straight.
Was and ironically when Kennedy set up a blockade around Vietnam?
Exactly.
Or Cuba?
Exactly. And ironically not fantastic enough, what happened in medieval England is not relevant to Imagica the Dragonland. So, do you know why The Lord of the Rings was written?
No.
So, the Anglo-Saxon chronicles didn't really have, the old Anglo-Saxon creation mythology. I mean, the old English, legends didn't have a lot of their stuff. So Tolkien, who was a student of that stuff, said, hey, I'm going to make my own version of the missing legends.
With blackjack and hookers?
Well, not blackjack, but there were probably some hookers in there. Okay. And then when they went on, some are saying, but these are not unpopular opinions, and I posit that to some they are, and I shouldn't be commenting much. I don't write or read the genre very often, so I'm kind of trampling on someone else's territory. So why are you doing it, Chuck? Yeah. And while we're at it,
why don't you write your own comic books? Oh, wait.
Oh, wait.
Oh.
While we're at it, here's some more unpopular opinions about epic fantasy. The bigger the series, the likelier it is that it unspools into minutia and footnotes and not if you're not a hack. Killing characters is a cheap way of building emotional effect, not if you're a hack. And I think it's less your assumption about the tweet and more talking to me like I don't write genre books and I don't work in the RPG industry for over a decade. Then why are you being stupid, Chuck?
Look, I'm not the biggest fan of the fantasy genre, but I don't walk in there and go, here's how you fix your genre that I don't pay attention to. I just don't.
You don't.
I don't know. It's like me walking into a role play, an RPG session, which I have never played any RPG. Except for on a video game, right? Never actually played a real role-playing game. And just walk in there and be like, you know what? There should be less dragons, more hookers, and more blackjack.
Which is going to make things very interesting when we do our little special thing for the Little Birds podcast, where Jim's going to have to play like he's played a role-playing game.
Yeah, well, you're basically going to give me a script and I'm going to do voice acting, because I can do voice acting.
Yeah.
If you've seen my true Bane, if you've seen my Bane post on YouTube.
Actually, remember, I helped you a little bit come up with that Bane post idea.
Yeah. Should have done a voice for it.
I should have.
Yeah, I had to do multiple parts. It was kind of annoying.
It was kind of annoying. So, also, Hellboy is coming out with a movie, and we have some new news that we didn't need to know about the character of Hellboy. Hellboy can't have sex with humans, says actor David Harbour. So, Jim, you're a Satanist. Mm-hmm. So you're at least conversant with legends about demons, right?
Well, Satanists don't believe in demons.
Right, but you're at least knowledgeable about it for fun.
A little bit.
So why would a demon not be able to have sex with humans?
That would be stupid, because a lot of demons are kind of coming from lust, or they try to tempt people with lustful behavior. There's these little things you might have heard about them, especially if you've been paying attention to the fantasy genre. They're called incubuses and succubuses.
That's their whole job.
That's their whole job, is to trick you into having sex with them, and then damning your soul.
So the upcoming Hellboy movie is an entirely new take of the character compared to the version created by Guillermo del Toro, who is actually, good at his job and knows how to do fantasy. While we know the movie will be more violent as it has achieved an R rating, many of the other details regarding how this new version of the character will be different from the one movie fans have known have yet to be revealed. However, David Harbour, who plays the titular role, it's his title role, but you should say titular role, because titular is a much cooler word. Says one way his character is different is that he won't have a love interest because apparently he can't have sex with humans. So you know how representation is a thing in the media?
Mm-hmm.
There are people who believe that they are asexual. So do you think that maybe they're trying to make Hellboy out to be representation for asexual people?
Yeah. But I'm going to tell you something. If he's a demon who's asexual, I think that'd be in a different category than most asexuals. Most asexuals that I've met, and I know there's a few that aren't like this, obviously. Not all of them, obviously. But most asexuals that I've ever ran into, like 1 week later, they're like bi or something. It's like, wait. I thought you didn't like sex. Not having sex, the vast majority of people, that doesn't last very long.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's this organization you might have heard of where they're having a little bit of an issue with this. It's called the Catholic Church.
Yeah. This isn't a random piece of Hellboy trivia. Well, it is, but it seems that there's a reason these things are being considered. It seems that Hellboy's lack of human ... connection will be part of the reason that he feels isolated among humans, which therefore will make the idea of Hellboy bringing about the apocalypse potentially more attractive. So, are we saying that Hellboy then is an incel? Mm-hmm. So let's get into the quote here, because it's full of Hollywood weasel words. The other thing that we explore somewhat is, one of the interesting things to me about Guillermo del Toro's movies was that he had a love interest, right? She was like a fire, but I think that Hellboy can't have a human being. He probably can't have sex with a human being because it would probably end disastrously because of his demon parts or whatever. Again, we have these things called succubuses and incubuses. That's not how that works. That's not how any of this works. So I just feel like what I wanted to explore was that loneliness. And, there's the temptations that you have to, if you do create a darker world as the beast of the apocalypse, you can have sex. You can have a girlfriend. You can live your life. Oh my God, they are making Hellboy into an incel. Oh no. But to live in the human world and to protect humanity, you have to sacrifice some of your nature and your actual nature. Oh my God, they are making him into an incel. As opposed to this concept of destiny that just that your actual nature someone gets sacrificed. Oh, I feel totally bad now. They're making Hellboy an incel. That's oof. That's not good. That's not good at all.
Not good luck at all.
So you remember last week we talked about how that guy in Australia trolled Jim Jeffries and recorded his show being a scam? Well, guess what? He has been banned from Facebook after exposing Jim Jeffries.
You don't say. Why would they do that?
Avi Yamini found his Facebook page permanently banned by Facebook for allegedly using hate speech. So in other words, he is doing a video where Jim Jeffries said hate speech, got him banned for hate speech.
With Batman.
Avi, who had gained huge traction after exposing an attempt by Comedy Central's Jim Jeffries to link him to the New Zealand attack and had gained over 1.5 million views on YouTube before his page was...
Oh, no.
And, yeah. That's pretty gruesome.
Yeah.
But let's...
Well, before we get into Zack Snyder, I have a video to play that I think is important.
This tone that we established in Man of Steel, but I really want to recapture some of the cinematic qualities.
Are we going to run with an advertisement video?
It's playing right
Once
now.
you enter such a fantastical world as Batman versus Superman, and you take a real world product and company like Turkish Airlines, and you bring it into, really
just gotta wait for the delay to catch up to me here.
As real. That's the thing that I was.
See, that's one of the dangers of
learning about Turkish Airlines.
We have created.
Oh yes,
what we
yes.
believe is a pretty fantastical world for Batman versus Superman, in the sense that you have these two superheroes battling. The presence of Turkish Airlines really makes me feel like these things are actually happening. Turkish Airlines has this motto of "Widen your world." And the interesting thing, and the way that that's played incredibly well into what we've done as a film, is that we've literally widened the world by creating these two mythical cities of Gotham and Metropolis. The thing that got me excited about Turkish Airlines was their global reach,
So I'm wondering how much Turkish Airlines paid him for this.
Could bring to our project this awareness, and they
enough.
represent a certain quality of product that is really at a high level.
It did,
and the relationship with Turkish Airlines.
There's a price for your really integrity, and I just wonder what Zack Snyder's price for his integrity was.
Turkish Airlines.
I mean, I'm curious, because I'd actually...
Okay.
I'd be interested in seeing what a Turkish airline flight actually is, but I don't fly anywhere that Turkish Airlines goes to.
Well, that's what made Batman versus Superman good. Was because they incorporated real life things like Turkish Airlines.
So here's what I was going to be leading off with in this one. Also from Twitter.
I'm already 10 steps ahead of you.
For the last time, I don't kill question. Really? Because an insistent source tells me otherwise. Zack Snyder doesn't count as a source today. So Zack Snyder was doing a little thing called SnyderCon, which was a little event at his film school. And it also just happened to be promoting the fact that he's been offered $90 million by a little company you might have heard of called Netflix. And one of his dumb takes, and there were so many, Zack Snyder wants you to wake the F up and accept that Batman kills people. So let's talk about that for a moment before we actually get into the IO9 article. Do you think it's a bad idea for Batman to kill in absolute?
I think there could be interpretations where he kills. Like I saw the Killing Joke. I think that's what it was, Killing Joke. The animated.
He didn't kill in that one though. He came close.
Joker.
No, he didn't.
Or was it? I'm thinking of the other one. Then yeah. What was the other one? The Dark Knight, where Batman was old.
He didn't kill the Joker in that one either.
Yeah, he did.
The Joker killed himself.
Oh.
Now Batman did technically wound him enough to that he would die, but he didn't finish him off. So Joker finished himself off. But yes, there's a story where Batman killing could be interesting. There was actually an interesting comic version of the story where Batman woke up and realized, I may have just killed somebody, but he didn't remember anything about it. But it got banned by DC because people complained that it had Batman's junk in it because it was an adults-only comic book.
They banned it because they could see my junk through my jumpsuit.
Exactly. Yeah. So let's start by reminding ourselves that the Snyder Cut does not exist. And Zack Snyder said in this event both that it doesn't exist and it does. He says that there's 10 different cuts. I don't know exactly which one is the one you're talking about as the Snyder Cut. And even if it did, it wouldn't make Justice League any less terrible of a movie. Again, that's what Zack Snyder said. With all this in mind, Zack Snyder would like everyone to make their peace with the fact that DCU's Batman has killed people in nothing short of a universe-altering turn of events. Going to change that, the company doing a complete soft reboot that's rolling through and eliminating all the DNA of what he had there.
Nice.
So let's listen to these words of wisdom from Zack Snyder, bro. Bro, once you've lost your virginity to this fucking movie, and then you come at me and say something like, "My superhero wouldn't do that," I'm like, "Are you serious?" I'm down the fucking road on that. Cool point of view to be like, my heroes are still innocent. My heroes didn't fucking lie to America. My heroes didn't embezzle money from their corporations. My heroes didn't commit any atrocities. That's cool, but you're living in a fucking dream world.
My heroes didn't fly Turkish Airlines.
Hey, you know what? If he wanted to make it a realistic movie, maybe his heroes could have flown Turkish Airlines into the Wayne Building. Or do you think that would be going too far? You think they would have been going too far? Turkish Airlines probably would have wanted to pay for that product placement.
No. Oh, God, no. That would have been Superman, though. Superman would have taken the plane out of the sky and rammed into the building to just try to defeat Daryl Zod. Because that's what Superman does. I don't know if you noticed that for reading comics. So Superman liked to destroy the whole entire city of Metropolis to kill a guy. That was a thing that happened. Oh, wait, no, it didn't. Never mind.
No, it didn't. But he also confirmed what the Justice League movie would have been like if he got to finish it. So let me give you the direct link to this gemstone. Hopefully, it'll let you go directly to the image. If not,
you're sending me stuff that I already have.
Okay, confirmed. Zack Snyder's Justice League. Darkseid murders Steppenwolf for healing Superman. Darkseid defeats the League with ease. Aquaman is killed. Darkseid boob tubes into the Batcave and murders Lois, causing Superman to succumb to the anti-life equation. Wonder Woman is killed trying to protect Lois Lane. The surviving League members now exist in the Nightmare timeline. Flash, Batman, and a torn-in-half Cyborg work together to send the Flash back into time and to alter the past. So, I mean, I don't want to sing callous, but, it's good that he had, more important family issues come up that he had to take care of. So we were saved from all that. Because that would have been atrocious. But, entertainment news isn't all bad. There's some good news. Good things are out there on the internet if you look for them. Oscar-winning production designers call high school Alien play deeply visionary. Leading production designers who helped create the looks of Star Wars, Avatar, and Dumbo praised New Jersey high school kids. In the 40th anniversary of Ridley Scott's iconic Alien received a stunning homage Friday night. A student production of New Jersey's high school drama club went viral. The Twitter was abuzz with footage of the industry praise, including a shout-out from Adam Savage of Mythbusters.
Spit it out.
Yeah, my tongue kind of was not cooperating with me there. On March 19th and 22nd, North Bergen High School staged a faithful adaptation titled Alien, the play, replete with handmade xenomorph costume and a reenactment of the face hugger scene. While crude, they still bear the unmistakable look of H.R. Geiger's legendary design. So I want to say this is extremely cool. I wish I was, let's do that in high school. Like, if I was in a drama club in high school, I would think, no way, dude. They will totally come to sue us if we do this at a school play. I mean, right? And also, Sigourney Weaver liked it. And she, was encouraging the kids. Remember, everybody, there are good things out there in pop culture news. You see, isn't that nice that I sandwiched that in there? Old interview with Mark Hamill and our good boy Ryan Johnson from March of last year, where the round-headed Ryan Johnson said, "Yeah, I was going back and forth as to whether I should have killed Luke. I decided during final edit." So that look on Mark Hamill's face of stunned confusion, he didn't know he was going to die until he saw the movie with everybody else. I'm not sure which is worse. How it meant absolutely nothing in the movie, that it could just be decided on a coin, or how you're completely disrespectful to, an actor that people view as a living legend and say, "Oh yeah, I'm going to totally kill your character," and let your shock be, a thing for everybody on the internet to look at. And this is not the only ruining of Star Wars going. Are you familiar with shipping, Jim?
With what?
Shipping.
Mm-mm. What do you mean?
So, you watch a show, and there's two characters on it. One's a guy, one's a girl, or maybe one's a guy and a girl and a girl. And, they have a little bit of... That is shipping, which is the hot new trend in fandom that at Star Wars Celebration is going to be celebrated on April the 14th. Shipping in Star Wars descent in gender, and is as old as the question
of
whether...
What's happening? We're losing frames again. And we're losing your audio.
No. Oh, no. Come on, YouTube. We need you to get it together. We're most of the way over the hump here. Yeah. But we need you to pull it together, YouTube.
It looks like it kind of stopped with the dropping frames, but...
Okay. Yeah. Join Denise and Lee from Lords of the Sith podcast and special guest Monty, formerly of Star Wars Connection, as we delve into the perception of romance by the Star Wars fan base and describe some of our experiences in the largest Star Wars fandom in podcasting and in the community. So you know what Raylo is?
Whatever you said. All right, let's try that. Okay, sorry, what was that? What was
it's how Rey and Kylo Ren are.
I didn't hear what you said because you cut out. Yeah, go ahead.
Raylo is about how Ray and Kylo are kind of doing it, and something.
No, we're losing everything.
Give me a second.
Yeah, no.
Let me try to
It's
disconnect
me,
and reconnect.
Me, it's you. It's not you. It's me. Because I'm losing frames too.
I mean, we can always like cut that off and just do the review section like Sunday or Monday or something.
Yeah, probably Monday would be best. Or I might have to work Monday. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll have to figure out a time to finish this week's, so we have next week's to continue.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm losing like crazy now.
So we're sorry. We have tried to push forward on this, but YouTube is not.
Actually, no, it's not. I blame penis.
Don't you mean Cox Cable?
Yeah.
Cox Cable system.
Yep.
So we're gonna do like a little spin-off review for the reviews, so we can do that and then get to our normal schedule. Because thanks YouTube for adding another podcasting slot to Jim and my busy schedule.
Yeah.
Or Cox. Let's blame Cox.
Yeah, it's Cox.
And Worms again.
I guess you said Worms, so